Signs are everywhere. Now, by signs, I mean such as billboards and the other types of physical types of signs, whether they be in our neighborhoods, whether they be on street signs, whether they be as we drive down the highway. Signs are ubiquitous. They are virtually everywhere. But of course, other signs exist as well. There are symbols, some that make us excited, some that may turn us away in various ways. And yet, there's another type of sign. There is something like a clue that is there. And these types of signs are getting a lot of attention these days, especially for those from a biblical perspective who look at something like Matthew 24. And in many Bibles, in Matthew 24, it even labels a heading after the first couple of verses, the signs of the end of the age. And as Jesus begins to talk about some of the signs that would be there. But a sign can also be a mark. And it can be a mark of something that has happened. And that is the focus of our message this coming Sunday. This sign that we're going to see this week is the sign of circumcision. But circumcision was more than a sign, it was actually a seal. And it was more than a seal, it was actually a promise. So, with that understanding, we're going to look at this sign, this seal, this promise that God made and that Abraham received, and how that sign, that seal, that promise that was given so many years ago still impacts us today. Now, with that being said, let me jump out of the preview for just a moment and say that I realize that there are a lot of people that are still not comfortable in coming. And if that's you, I understand. COVID has rocked our world in so many different ways, and there's a lot of concern about catching COVID or whatever. But if you're on the fence about maybe coming or maybe not, and you say, well, I can just watch these videos, and you can, and I'm thankful that you do. But let me just give you an earnest appeal, because I promise you that 9 out of 10 sermons, 9 out of 10 messages are far better in the moment on Sunday than they are in the recordings that I do earlier in the week, normally on Friday. Why is that? Well, there's an audience there. There's a live interaction. I can see people's faces. I can move. If you know me, I don't sit very well when I preach. And this last week was a probably one of my better messages that I've given as a pastor. And if you watch that on the video, great. But I'm in a chair and I'm facing the camera and I'm looking at the camera. I can't move. But on Sunday I can, and I do, and I did. So, and then the afterwards, how I was able to apply that in the moment with the people that gathered was so different than what I might have in my head or put on paper on my screen for those who are watching on video. So I do encourage you. Again, I understand if you're not comfortable coming because of COVID or you're high risk or something, I completely understand. But I promise you that it is almost always better and significantly better. Plus, you get the music and everything else. And we must understand that in reality, church is community. It is meant to be community. Church cannot exist apart from community. The New Testament knows nothing about an isolated Christian. And of course, the New Testament knew nothing about COVID either. So this is a season. We're going to move through this, and when we're on the other side of this, I invite you back. But again, for those who are on the fence, well, maybe I'll go today, maybe I'm not. I can just watch it online. I encourage you to come and be a part of the experience of what God is doing, not just watching online. So, with that, we do invite you. I invite you to gather with us and experience what God is doing at Fairfax Baptist Church. I hope to see you Sunday.